everyone. Welcome to Fabulous Living with Angela Jones. I'm your host, Angela Jones. Welcome to today's show. Very excited. I have a show chock full of lots of info because, hey, it's summertime, and today's show is all about summer travel. It's that time everyone's going on summer vacations, family reunions, taking trips with their children, all kinds of things are going on. So that's what today's show is all about. We're going to talk about all things travel. Traveling is great. I love to travel. I don't do as much of it as I would like to, but I do like to I do like to travel, and I enjoy it when I do it. I'm kind of weird though. I only like to travel like after about like 4 days. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go home. That's crazy. I get all amped and geared up to go, and after about 4 or 5 days, I'm like, okay, when is this over? But I do love to travel. And there's so much out there to see. So much to do, whether you want to do something that involves being more adventurous and outdoorsy, whether you want to do something in a vibrant, hot, city, whether you want to do something on the beach or do something a little more serene, like, rent a house on a lake, or something like that. There's so much to do, so much to offer, just right here stateside, not even thinking about what you can do abroad. So much to talk about. So today, if you're ready, we have the PowerPoint. We can get that up. Thanks so much. So, like I said, summer travel. We're going to talk about getting the most out of your summer vacation. And what is the main thing that keeps people from going on vacation? Money. Money. So the first segment here, I want to talk about secrets to saving on your summer vacations. So I'm going to kind of go through some of my a list of things that you can do to help you to save money on your vacations. The first thing is, you ready? Yeah. Get tech savvy. You can get so many great deals on social media. We spend a lot of money on our smartphones. We spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on our cell phones, and we should put them to good use. Use apps so that you can score really good deals and find promotions online. Another good way is to follow on social media all the major airlines, because sometimes they may post some things online for their social media followers that they may not post on their website. So that's another good way to really get some really good deals too. And like I said, smaller airlines such as JetBlue, Virgin America, they'll offer flash sales and they'll put promotions and stuff there. So that's definitely something to consider outside of just signing up for their alerts. Next up is hotel loyalty programs. Great way. Starwood, Marriott, Hilton Honors, Kimpton's rewards programs. There's so many good rewards programs out there. So every time I stay at a different hotel, if I'm not connected with that hotel, I'll sign up for their rewards program, because that's just a good way to get a lot of points so that you can save. Maybe about 2 years ago, I went to San Francisco and I stayed about 5 days, and I ended up the hotel stay would have ended up being about $1,100 or $1,200, and I only paid $600 for it because I used a lot of my Marriott rewards points for the trip. So many good ways that you can score really good deals online and like through your hotel loyalty programs as well. And like I said, follow them online, because sometimes they'll offer sweet deals just for their online, for their social media followers. So that's definitely something you should definitely keep in mind. Next up is take the road less traveled. And by that, I mean, try some different places. Sometimes when places are oversaturated, like Cancun, Bermuda, Orlando, Miami, there's just certain places that we all frequent because let's be clear, they're fabulous places. However, those places are going to be crowded. The rates are going to be higher during peak season, which is the summertime. So think about doing a trip that's a little place that's off the beaten path. This is a wonderful photo of a place called Bald Head, North Carolina. And I have this on my list because I'm thinking if I can try to squeeze in time somehow during football season, taking away some time to go to visit Bald Head Island before it gets too cold. This is a great place that I ended up finding. I think I mentioned to you in the last show that I'm planning a wedding for a friend in Wilmington, North Carolina. And one of the places that I referred to her was Bald Head, North Carolina. And the only reason that she didn't go with it, she loved it. I mean, it's a really cool island right off of Cape Fear in North Carolina. And it's right against it's right on the, out there in the Atlantic Ocean. You can only get there by ferry. No cars are on the island. You only travel on the island with golf carts. I love that. So, I mean, it really puts you in vacation mode. There are no cars, there's no traffic, there are no buses, only golf carts. That's it. And you can only get there by ferry. So that's definitely on my list. So definitely think about some places that aren't your tried and true vacation spots, because you can either find some deals, discover someplace new. So that's definitely something that you should try to do to definitely save a little bit of money too. All right. So next up, go off peak. That's when you're going to have less crowds. That's when you're going to get a better rate. If you go during, high peak season, or, in season, particularly when you're going abroad or to like the Caribbean and things like that, you're going to spend more money. So that's why, hey, I hate to say it, but the Caribbean is cheaper during hurricane season. Why? Because nobody wants to be in the Caribbean during hurricane season, but it is less expensive. So you're taking that chance. So you're going knowing that you're taking that chance that a hurricane, could occur, but hey, hopefully you can go and it'll be without incident and you would have saved a boatload of money and you'll have a wonderful time. But definitely think about traveling off peak, because you can definitely save a lot of money by traveling a little bit, off peak. And for me, little sidebar is that I tend to not take a vacation in the summer. I typically wait until like after Labor Day is what I've typically done in the past, and gone when everyone's back at work, everybody's back in school. And now that my son is a young adult and I don't have to base everything around his summer schedule, I can go on vacation whenever I get good and well please. So I tend to like to go in the fall when everyone is back, everyone's back at work in my office, and I can just kind of go off, do my own thing. And then it's almost like an extension of having, taking the break during the summertime, because everyone's away during the summer. So the office is quieter, but then everyone comes back and then your girl's out of here. So anyway, think about going off peak. Next up is book on Tuesday. Tuesday is a great time to book your flights. Why? Because all of the airlines are then uploading uploading all of their info on their websites about all of the fares. And typically when they're releasing everything, that's when you can kind of get a really, really, really nice deal. So Tuesdays is the day to think about booking travel. And I'll tell you how this works. I just booked a flight for my mom. That wedding that I just spoke of, she's going to help me. We're going to kind of coordinate the wedding together. So I got a flight for her on a Tuesday, I believe it was. I'm pretty certain it was a Tuesday. And the fare was like $300 less than it would have typically been for her to fly from Montgomery, Alabama to here. See, Montgomery is not a major hub, so flights there tend to be $500 or $600 to come here to DC. But I got her a flight for like $303, which was really, really good. And it's a few days before Labor Day, so that was really a steal. So the timing of it all really does make a difference, and that leads us to the next slide. Be flexible with your dates. Definitely be flexible with your dates. You know how when you're booking your travel and it'll kind of have that little small little print underneath of the calendar that'll say, "Are you flexible with your dates?" Say yes. Yes. Because, and sometimes let them, put in some dates, that are kind of not what you were typically thinking about. Typically, when we think of vacation, we're thinking Saturday to Saturday, but it's actually cheaper to do it during the week. That flight that I just mentioned that I got from my mom is a Wednesday to Friday flight. And that makes a difference. It makes a huge difference because fares are going to be higher on the weekends. They know that's when everyone typically travels. So if you can, I mean, my mother is a retiree, so she can fly whenever she gets ready. She doesn't have to wait till the weekend. So that also helped in lowering that fare. So if you can travel midweek, that is very, very helpful. If you can depart midweek and then your arrival, day can be your departure and your arrival day, excuse me, can be midweek. That is very, very helpful because you'll definitely see an adjustment in the fare. So you see that little question there on the calendar when you're booking your fares, and it's asking you can be flexible. And sometimes they'll even show you, like in Google Flights, they'll actually say, and they'll show you, they'll say, hey, if you leave on Wednesday instead of Saturday, this is what your fare would be. So it really does make a difference. So that's definitely something to consider, being flexible with your dates and trying to do the midweek departure and arrival. Very helpful. Next up to again save, and I think this is something that we all tend to forget when before planes or anything, the trains were the way to go. Poor train industry. When planes came around, nobody wanted to take the train, but trains are a really good way to see the country. I love traveling via train. I always take the train. Well, not always, but a lot of times, depending on how soon I've booked my trip. Like to Philly, I've done a quick jaunt there, definitely to New York, New Jersey. It's a few hours and I get to just relax. I don't have to drive. I don't have to deal with the traffic. But even if you're doing something further across the country, I've heard that traveling via train is really, really cool. Yes, it takes longer, but if you have time and you're on vacation, that's the whole point. You're just relaxing. You go to the dining car and get something to eat. It's really, really cool. So I love traveling via train. And Tuesdays through Fridays, you can get some really good rates if you're signed up with Amtrak's Smart Fares program. The fares can be about 30% off. That's really good. So that's definitely something to consider if you have a little more time, you have a little more flexibility, and you have a little patience, because you need patience to ride the train any distance. So that's a really cool way to save as well. Next up, road trip. This is how we always traveled when I was younger. And yes, we asked that question every few hours. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because you get anxious sitting in the back of the car for hours. But most of my fondest memories for summer vacation is going to Alabama to visit my family every summer. We typically go like in about in July usually, and spend 2 weeks down there for the summer. And we always drove, and it was always a big to do. My mom would get up, she'd fry chicken, and she'd pack fruit and snacks and everything, and she put everything in the car, and we'd get in the back seat and we'd ride. And like I said, in 2 hours into it, we wouldn't even be to Richmond. How much longer do we have? What time are we going to get there again, Daddy? So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So, and I think a lot of us have a lot of really cool memories about taking road trips. And it's nice because you kind of get to take the show on the road, per se. All the madness that comes with raising your family and doing everything, at home. Just taking all that into a smaller space, which does grate your nerves, but it's funny. You're creating really great memories. So, hey, it's a cost savings, especially like for us. We're a family of 5, so it's expensive to travel via plane. So We hopped in the car. We hopped in our parents' Chevrolet Impala and jumped on the road. And that's how we got to see our family every year, is via car. That's just what we did. And we'd stop. Sometimes my dad, hi daddy, did not always want to stop. Sometimes we'd stop maybe in like South Carolina, so take a break. And maybe, I think I maybe remember us staying overnight once. I don't think we stayed overnight too many times. Mom, you'll have to correct me on that. Daddy too. But anyway, lots of fun times. So don't forget the good old fashioned road trip. So much fun. So much fun. Next up is save on where you stay. Now, like I mentioned, you can definitely save on where you stay by using your hotel rewards points, as I mentioned to you a few minutes ago. But another way to save is by, using alternative resources such as Airbnb. Love, love, love Airbnb. I have stayed in Airbnbs multiple times and I love them. Of course, you have to just make sure that, you're very specific about what you want, and they have it all. It's so simple. Whether you want to, if you're okay with just using a room and sharing a space with other people, if you want to make sure it's just a private residence and you have the whole space to yourself, you can definitely do that. There's just so many different options, whether it's staying in someone's apartment or a condo, a single family home, a log cabin. I mean, the possibilities are endless. There's so many different places that you can stay in Airbnb. And make sure you read the reviews. Make sure you check out who you're staying with, read their bio, all the stuff that's common sense. But because I know some people are kind of like scary about, I don't want to stay in someone else's house. You stay in a hotel room, anything can happen any place. So, it's great. It is really, really great. And people have turned this into a big, it's a hundreds of millions of dollars are being made on this new and very thriving industry. So it's here to stay, and it's great. It's a really, really, really great concept. I love it. So Airbnb is great. Another great option is VRBO, and that's Vacation Rental by Owner. I've also used them a few times too, particularly when I went to Florida, maybe about 8 years ago. I used them and the house was phenomenal. And the savings was great, as opposed to staying in a hotel for a week. It was great. And we did it with another family. So it was great. They had one wing of the house. We had another wing. It was fabulous. The house was beautiful. So that's another great option too, is VRBO.com. Wonderful options there too. Because think about it. You're going to end up saving some money because you're staying in a house. As opposed to a hotel. You're not going to have to pay all of the, costs for meals and the fees and different things like that. So it kind of pays off to think about doing Airbnb or VRBO, and there's some others out there too, but those are just the two that I'm familiar with. But that's definitely something to consider outside of doing a hotel. It's fabulous. I love it, because that's another thing that drives me crazy about traveling too. I think that's why I'm always anxious to get home, is that after a few days, I'm sick of eating out every single day. It starts to drive me a little crazy. So that this way I can, you can prepare your own meals. You have your own snacks. So you're saving in that regard too. You just kind of do some grocery shopping your first day in, stock your fridge and your pantry, and everyone has their kitchens outfitted, for guests to stay. So you have everything that you need to cook a complete meal, which is great. So those are two considerations for you if you want to kind of save some money in the lodging department. So next up, as you can hear from the music I have in the background there, this is Erykah Badu, and it kind of is a great segue, I thought, to play it a little bit longer, just a little bit, because I want to get to so pack light. Pack light. That's what she starts to say in the chorus. I don't think we got to it, but it's all good. pack light because airlines charge you $25 per bag. So if you don't have to take an extra bag, try to get as much as you can in that one bag so that you don't have to carry so much. And the whole packing, the luggage pack, the packing for a trip is a whole nother, that's a really good blog post. So you may see that coming up because there's so many different ways that you can coordinate ensembles and come up with different looks with just a few pieces. So I've kind of gotten good. I used to be that person that took, a million different outfits because I didn't know if I was going to wear this or that or what I was going to be in the mood for, and taking several different pairs of shoes. That is too much. If I'm just doing something over the weekend, I take one bag. I take a carry-on and I take different separates and I kind of mix and match the outfits. Take one pair of jeans and wear different tops, and maybe turn a casual outfit from touring during the day with sandals and a t-shirt and jeans, and that night maybe take an off-the-shoulder top and some sandals, and then I can kind of go out for the night and that. So there are different ways you can pack light, but definitely want to make sure that you're packing light and not taking more than you need to. Now, if you're traveling via Southwest, Southwest does allow you to have 2 bags that you check. And as long as they don't weigh over 50 pounds, they're free, which is great. That's one of the reasons I really like Southwest. So if I'm kind of taking a longer trip, I definitely like to travel Southwest because I may not get everything in one bag. So something to consider. Next, share your celebration. Let's say you're celebrating, well, obviously they're going to know if you're, on your honeymoon because you're going to be in the honeymoon suite. But let them know about a birthday, or if it's a graduation celebration, or you're celebrating a wedding anniversary. Let the airlines know and let them know that you would like to know if there's an upgrade available. Because believe it or not, you have not because you ask not. Sometimes they will give you a bump up. Sometimes same thing with your hotel. Maybe they'll move you up to club level, or they'll move you to a suite or something like that if you mention that you're celebrating a special occasion. So sometimes speak up and you may, get an upgrade. So that's just something to consider as well. Okay. Next is escape to a big city. Sometimes you'll think, oh, if I go to a major city, it's going to be really expensive. But sometimes that's not always the case because a lot of times big cities have so much to offer. So they bundle a lot of packages for families that are coming to visit. And then because they are such big cities like Washington, D.C., so many things are free. All 17 of the Smithsonian museums are free. If you are a resident of the United States, of a citizen of the United States of America, your tax dollars are paying for that. So come and take advantage of things like that. So, when you go to New York, if you're going to go to the Met, you're going to pay. If you're going to go to, all of the museums and art galleries and things like that in New York are going to cost you. But here in D.C., they're all free of charge. At least all of the ones that are on the mall. I'll say that much. All of the Smithsonian-related museums are free, so take advantage of that. So that's why you see so many people embarking on a city like D.C. 30 million people come to D.C. a year. And when I'm out and about, there are always tons of families because you can find some really good deals in a lot of the hotels. Like I said, bundle a lot of the packages and things like that. So there's so many different ways that you can save, even if you go to a big city. So many different ways you can save. And because they know that they're a big city, and sometimes a lot of the things that they offer are they know that people kind of have the mindset that they are cost prohibitive. They'll say during certain hours, they'll have, family packages at restaurants and different things like that. So don't sleep on visiting a big city during your summer vacations too. That is a great way to save. And speaking of big cities, I wanted to just kind of run through a list. Travel and Leisure put out a list of the favorite cities for affordable getaways. So I wanted to kind of run through some of the cities that are really affordable for a getaway. One sec. Okay. Okay. All right, so we're going to take a short break so that we can kind of get that up and go to the website. And then we'll be right back with things to know before you go. And I have one little jewel I want to share with you if going on vacation is totally out of your budget. So be right back. Hey there, welcome back to Fabulous Living with Angela Jones. So, we're going to next, I wanted to share with you Travel and Leisure's website, and they had a list of favorite affordable getaways, like the cities where they have the best. They're the most affordable cities in the country to go for a getaway. So we're just gonna go to the website. I'm gonna run you through like just the list of the cities, so you can kind of see that. We're not gonna talk about each one. I just want you to see what the cities are. So, hey, if you're still planning your vacation, because again, we always think of summer, and we only think of June to August, but summer is not over until September. So you still have plenty of time to plan for summer. So here we are. Thank you. Yay. So here's a list of the cities here, so we can kind of run through them. So the first city is Chicago. Chicago is amazing. I love Chicago. I fell in love with Chicago. Love it, love it, love it. It's like a mini, to me, it's like a mini New York. You know, it's a Midwestern city, but it's just great. Except for, I couldn't go there in the wintertime though. I've only gone during the summer, so my thoughts on not that may change if I go to visit during the winter, which I never plan to do because it's really, really cold. But I love Chicago. It's great. Next city, San Antonio, Texas. Haven't done San Antonio, but I've heard a lot of really good things about San Antonio. So that's city number 14. 13 is Greenville, South Carolina. Never been to Greenville. Been to some other cities in South Carolina, but never done Greenville. So that may be something to consider. Minneapolis, St. Paul in Minnesota. Heard they have like the biggest mall in the world, so I may have to check that out. Santa Fe, New Mexico. That's one of the few states that I haven't visited. So Santa Fe. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Some of these cities surprised me for some reason, but I've heard good things about Grand Rapids. So I've only done Detroit. So Grand Rapids. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Never done Milwaukee, but it's close to Chicago. So Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, these are all affordable cities, people. So something to consider. And you know, so Cleveland doesn't surprise me because you can always from here get really cheap flights to Cleveland, like less than $200. So I get why that made the list. Rochester, New York. Number 7. Number 6. New Orleans or Nolans. Inexpensive city, affordable. And think about it. So much food, a lot of this, you know, the entertainment and stuff is just right there on the street. You don't necessarily have to go someplace. So that kind of all makes sense that it's reasonably priced. Indianapolis, Indiana, I visited there. It was pretty inexpensive. I was there for business, but it wasn't an inexpensive place. St. Louis, this is a place that I would love to visit. And I've heard that it's really a nice city too. Number 3, Buffalo, New York. Yeah, interesting. Never done Buffalo, I don't think. No, never done Buffalo. Norfolk, Virginia. I'm going to be there in the fall, so I'll report back. Number 1, Washington, D.C., people. Woo! Yes. Like I said, people think this is a major city that is expensive, but again, there's so many affordable things that you can do here. So definitely check out Travel and Leisure's website and then just put in affordable getaways in your search and that article will pop up. So, a couple of things to know before you go. And these are, this is one of the hassles of traveling now, but we live in a post 9/11 world where we have TSA, and it is a hassle, but it's a necessary hassle when it comes to traveling. But I kind of want to run through some quick tips to help your travel, to make your traveling experience easier. Those of you who don't watch, who are new to the show, hello and welcome. I am an administrator by day. So I'm an executive assistant to the CEO of an organization here in the city. And so I do a lot of travel for both personal and professional purposes for my boss. So I have a couple of tips that I wanted to kind of share with you to kind of make things easier for you before you travel, especially as it pertains to TSA. So let me run through that list for you. So this is what'll get you in trouble, people, the liquids thing. So you have to have all your liquids. They've got to be 3.4 ounces or less. And they've all got to be in a quart-sized bag, plastic baggie. That's it, if you're checking your bag. If you're not checking your bag, you can have larger, you can have full-size items in there, but you cannot check them. They have to be, you can't carry them on. They have to be in your checked bag. So 3.4 ounces and under, you can put on your carry-on. Checked baggage, 3.4 ounces and larger. Hopefully that kind of helps to know what's what and what you can do as far as the liquids thing. Quick tip, deodorant. You don't have to have in travel size because it's a solid. But if you have a gel or a spray deodorant, can't do that. You got to have that in your checked bag. Next is bring your snacks. A lot of people think that you can't have any food and bring food through TSA, but you can. As long as it's solid, as long as it's not a liquid, you can bring it through TSA, any kind of solid snack. So even a meal if you wanted to, because one thing I hate about traveling is how expensive the food is at the airport. And airport food is hit or miss for me. Sometimes airport food is good, and then sometimes it's not that great. And it's regardless though, whether it's good or bad, it's expensive. That very same Chick-fil-A sandwich that you'll pay $3 for is going to be $7 in the airport. So hey, if you have Chick-fil-A or whatever place that you know, or you make a sandwich at home, make it at home, and you can pack it and just let them know, hey, I have food in this bag, and they'll tell you whether or not you need to put it in a separate, container as you're running it through the machines or what have you. But you can bring your own food and snacks. So hopefully that'll save you a little bit too. Wear slip-on shoes. Go back. I'm going to stay on this one for a sec. Wear slip-on shoes. It makes it easier if you have to take your shoes off. You don't have to untie anything. You don't have to just slip them off. But make sure you wear some footies or some socks, because then the floor is all gritty and grimy and dirty. Ick. So, yeah. Next up is let the TSA officer know if you have medications or any associated accessories that kind of go along with your medication, whether that's a syringe or if you have, an IV or anything like that that's going to kind of raise, eyebrows when it goes through the machine. Let them know ahead of time so that they're aware that you have that, and kind of have that all in a separate bag so that they'll see it and it's separate and apart from everything else. So, little tip. So, we know you have to have your medication and all those good things so that you can be healthy and enjoy your vacation, but you just have to make sure you make TSA officers aware of things so that they're not surprised by seeing a syringe or a needle or an IV bag or anything like that. So make sure you let them know. Another good tip is check your airline's size requirements for the carry-on bags. Every airline's requirements are different, which I think is kind of weird. I'm surprised that wasn't made like universal, but it may just be off by an inch or two. But make sure you check that before you think that one bag is going to make it. I carry this one on all the time. And maybe that works for United. It might not work for Delta. It may not work for Frontier. So make sure you check the requirements and make sure that your bag falls within it. Because you'd hate to get there. You know how they have those little bins and you can put your bag down in it? You'd hate to get there and your bag not fit. That is the worst. So make sure you check all the requirements for it. And also make sure you check the weight limitations for your checked bags as well. Because if you're over, which I've done back in the day, I've been over, and then I've had to readjust things and try to put stuff in my carry-on and give some, if I'm traveling with someone else, give stuff to them and try to distribute everything so that my bag wasn't too heavy. So make sure you check the weight requirements. Make sure you check the bag sizes for carry-on. And this little jewel is TSA PreCheck. And I stumbled upon this because of business travel for bosses. A few years ago, when they came out with TSA PreCheck, I was like, what? This is amazing. TSA PreCheck. You've been standing in that long line waiting to go through security. And meanwhile, you see all these other people just sailing through. They're gone. They're not taking their shoes off. They can keep on light jackets. They don't have to take out their laptops. None of that. So what it involves is TSA PreCheck means you've already been pre-checked out. You have to fill out some paperwork, pay $100. I'm not sure of how often you have to pay the $100, but I think that the fee is good for a few years. I don't think it's for a lifetime. That's a good question. I have to check that out. But nonetheless, you can go to tsa.gov to find out more information about TSA PreCheck, but it is a lifesaver. If you're a frequent traveler, and actually, honestly, even if you don't travel that much and you just travel for pleasure, if traveling, like I said, in this post 9/11 world has been a hassle for you and it kind of turns you off, then you need to sign up for TSA PreCheck because it will make your life easier. Trust me. it makes it so much easier to just sail through security, because that's the main thing is you don't have to get to the airport as early as if you have TSA pre-check too. So that's something else to consider. Getting there an hour and a half or two early. If you know you're going to sail through TSA pre-check, you may only need to get there an hour before your flight instead of an hour and a half or 2 hours to save you some sleep. So any other questions or to find out more about TSA pre-check, definitely check the TSA.gov website. So next up is, then there's the staycation. Maybe you're saying, and I just started a new job. I don't have any vacation time. Hey, I've got a very full, I've got some other things I'm doing. I'm buying a house this year. I'm putting my children through college. So I'm going on vacation. I'm just kind of like, I say we all still need a getaway, right? So I love that there's this term that came about called a staycation. I love it. And I've done quite a few and I love them. And it's really a great way to be a tourist in your own town or somewhere nearby. What I've done is I've often just done them like either here in DC, or I've gone somewhere that's not too far away, but I still felt like I was kind of away. Like I've gone to St. Michael's on the Eastern Shore. I've done Annapolis. I've done Lansdowne in Virginia, the resort, Shenandoah, someplace that's still kind of close by. But I still kind of felt like I got away a little bit. But in a sense, it was sort of kind of a staycation because it was still within an hour or two of the DC area. So that's definitely something to consider, is be a visitor in your own town. And let me give you a couple of tips for staying there. I put some stuff on thank you so much, on my website. I did this post last year, and actually last July, so it was about a year ago that I did this post. So what I want to share with you are just some really quick tips before we wrap up for doing a staycation in your own town. One of the things to do is, and let me back up, let me put a pin in that. One of the things that I think is really cool is that oftentimes we live, especially those of us that are spoiled, that live in a big city like DC, don't take advantage of everything that the city has to offer. And hey, folks, there's a reason why 30 million people are coming here, because, hello, there's a lot to see and do. So take advantage of that, Why should all these people coming in be the ones that take advantage of it and we get to see it every single day? I think it's because we kind of take it for granted. Oh, yeah, the Capitol will be there, whatever. Oh, yeah, I can go to the, African-American history and culture museum. Oh, yeah, whatever. But take advantage of those things that we have here. And that's a great time to do a staycation. Like I said, go museum hopping. Hey, put on your fanny pack and look like a tourist. Go check out the museums here. There are always new exhibits taking place. Go and check them out. Go museum hopping, take a tour. Whether it's by foot, we have some really great walking tours here in DC of certain neighborhoods like DuPont Circle. There's a great walking tour that you can go on of the U Street corridor. In your town, find out what the popular spots are. If there's something someplace you haven't been, maybe you haven't gone to do a tour, gone to museums since Aunt Betty came to town 5, 6, 7 years ago. Things change, exhibits change, So take advantage of those things. Another way to take a good tour is if you live in a city that's near water, or even if it's just a river or a bay, do a boat cruise. I've done that in Annapolis in the Chesapeake Bay, and it was awesome. I've done that here quite a number of times, and just done like one of the duck tours here in the city. I've done the tour. My son and my mom and I, we did like a staycation like on one Saturday, and we did George Washington's home, Mount Vernon, and left from DC, took the cruise over to Alexandria to Mount Vernon. It was great. So there's so many different things like that you can do, which are fabulous. Visit a state park. Another great thing, if you're an outdoorsy person, so much beauty to behold in state parks. So that's definitely something you can take advantage of. Stay at a hotel. Even if you're doing it in your own city, I've done this quite a few times when I'm just kind of like, don't really want to get away, don't really want to get on a plane. just do a hotel stay, and I do everything up. I do the whole spa experience. I eat out. I just pretend like I'm a tourist right here in DC. I've done that quite a few times, like the Mandarin Oriental. Done that, and it's kind of like in a different quadrant of the city than I live and work in, so it's nice. So it's a great way to see the city and do something a little different and still feel like you're having the vacation experience. Then the last little tip here is make your home your castle. Hey, maybe you don't have even in your budget to even do the hotel. I get it, because that is what gets you on your travel, is the lodging piece. Then do all the other stuff out during the day, and then simply decide that you're going to make your home your castle. Get a nice plush robe, put that on when you come back from touring, soak in the tub, light some candles, make a pot of tea or have a glass of wine, and make it a great experience for yourself. Make sure you do all the housework during the week, because we don't want to do any housework because you're on vacation. So do that on a Saturday or Sunday and really make it a really great experience for yourself. So that's it, everybody. Those are some really, I hope, good tips for summer travel, because if you haven't booked anything, like I said, it's not too late. And if you have, hopefully those are some of the tips that you can use when you're ready to go on your summer vacation. I want to leave you with this one last jewel of one thing you can do. And I think I'm going to do a blog post on the things that you need to do before you go on vacation. We know that we need to notify our credit card company and all that good stuff, but one last little jewel that I want to leave with you is go grocery shopping, or sorry, have your groceries delivered on the day you return from vacation, because that is the worst. Having to get from vacation, you're all relaxed, and you got to go out and go grocery shopping. If you don't use it, use Peapod by Giant, or have Safeway deliver if you're local, or find your local grocer and have things delivered. So that when you get back from vacation, you pull up, that truck is pulling up maybe an hour or so after you get there. Groceries are done and you don't have to think about that. So hopefully that little tidbit will help you. I'm signing off, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Blessings.